again?
Well,
Hello,
let
hello,
me do some
hello,
stuff that I
hello.
want to do first, so...
Yes, do some stuff that you want to do. Play your thief sims and stuff. Well, I record some runes. Just wanted to get that sent over to you now before I forget about it later. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. Welcome to some more Rune Factory 3. After last episode, I never actually wound up coming back to continue this forging. We only have about 10 levels to go on this. How much longer could it possibly take? Probably until we run out of food. That's probably a good estimate. Gosh, it's way too flippin' hot to want to do anything. It's like 30 degrees out. Why is it so hot? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Come on. Eventually, we've got to hammer this gold into that watering can successfully. It's all just a matter of time, really, isn't it? Just a matter of about another 8 levels or so until that gets through. Also, I think it's actually an upcoming episode of Tower Tactics Liberated, I wind up talking about a potential Gloomhaven +6 challenge run. Playing through the entire game with a level 1 team at NPC difficulty level 7. You know, a total of a +6 increase to difficulty. And I mentioned how when I talked in the Gloomhaven/Fosshaven whatever server about that some years ago, I was immediately told that I was a complete moron for even thinking that winning even one challenge of Gloomhaven, no matter what challenge, any single one of them would be 100% impossible at a +7 difficulty, no matter what period whatsoever. No way, no how it could ever be done. Yeah, it turns out it's actually not only possible, but I don't think it would necessarily be that hard. Mostly it would just be annoying to do, because you have to attempt the challenges over and over again. But thanks to one of the city event cards that starts out in the default city event deck, you can get your prosperity up infinitely. You can also get your gold up infinitely. And also, just with the starting characters, one of them specifically, the Scoundrel, has a loss ability, whatever, one-time personality ability, where it can attack for double damage. And an attack that can deal, I think, like, attack 7 or 8? So attack for about 14, which is enough to deal with a level 7 elite enemy. So you can retire some characters, get some points up that way, but also you can just get infinite prosperity, and since you can kill an enemy you can technically make infinite money, which means you can donate to the temple and get that all the way up, and you can all of the retirement goals require having money or just buying a bunch of gear or whatever. You can do all of that. But most importantly, since you can get infinite prosperity, you can level up the town infinitely. And that's very important. Because if you can level up the town infinitely, then you can get access to all of the higher level town items. That's not very much. No. That can help. Yeah, so you can get access to basically anything that just leveling up the town can get you, including higher level items, including, spoiler alert, an item that will grant you permanent flight and also invisibility if you stand inside an obstacle. So you could combine that scoundrel with one of the base classes that can make an obstacle as a card effect. In fact, it can make 3 obstacles. And then just have the entire scenario essentially just be round 1, create the obstacles, and then hide in there. And then just go slow, leave and attack, go fast, attack, hide. As long as you don't get any monsters getting an extremely high or extremely low initiative on the wrong turns, they can't attack you. And you can get 30 to 40 turns of attacking them, which, unless they have an obsessively high retaliate or obsessively high shield, you can kill them. And even if they do have that, you can apply wound with an item. So you can just wound them and just sit and watch them die. So unless they have extremely high retaliate / shield and also a healing card, you can just wound them and leave. Boss fights might be a little bit more difficult, but still, if they can be wounded without them healing, you're good. Otherwise, again, hit and run tactics. That's all you need. Over and over and over again. And that should do it for basically any scenario in the game. And yeah, instead of going for a team of 4, go with the team of 2 so you have less monsters to fight against. But yeah, that's basically... So, yeah. Entirely possible, would be boring, wouldn't necessarily be too difficult. Knife, right back. Okay. Frying pan, cobalt. Okay, what about... Let's go with the lobster. Uh-huh. You can cook it in the frying pan, or cook it with a knife. Lobster's just good that way? Okay, if you cook it with the knife, that's 25% runes. But if you fry it, that's 40%. So let's fry a lobster. Alright, what's next? Needlefish. Cook it with a knife. Or fry it again. No idea how much the fried one gives, because that's not on the wiki. But the sashimi gives 25%. Let's just wait to knife that up. Masu trout. I think I've got a lot of these. Okay, so you can definitely cook it in the frying pan, but you can also cook it with a knife. Yes, of course you can. Frying pan gives 15% and the knife gives 10%. So let's just fry all of these up, one at a time. Level 60 cooking. I've completed the first boss. Ooh, plus 25%, nice. Eat. Create more item. See what else is there? So, yeah. If someone can come up with the mod for the Gloomhaven, like, Steam video game thing, so I could legitimately play with gaining no experience and set the difficulty to whatever I want it to be, so I could run a +6 difficulty campaign, I'd be tempted to completely just do that. Just maybe have a series. Not sure if I should have a series, so if I should just stream it and then just upload like a highlights reel or something. I'd probably make a series, but I don't know, do it at ×2 speed or something so it's not so dull. Maybe record that and have that as a semi-daily once I'm done with Tower Tactics Liberation. I would like to mention I'm still not at the 500 health that I want to be at yet. But hey, I've been in the watering can a few times, that's bound to help. about... So, lately I've been having the urge to try to write a bit more. Like, maybe write some whatever stories. There is a new, Magic the Gathering thing made for Commander, the Bloomborough Persona thing, whatever. Basically, before the game starts, everyone chooses from a list of animals, and they, like, embody that animal, quote-unquote, and based on which one they choose, they get certain perks over the course of the game. As at the beginning of your upkeep, you flip a coin. If heads, you get an advantage. If tails, you move on this board thing. So it's a bit like Arch Enemy, where you get a benefit at the start of your turn, and a bit like Plane Chase, where there are effects that apply to everyone based on where they are on this wheel. However, the issue is that one of the animals, unless you specifically build a deck around one of the other animals, one specific animal is just plain better than all of the rest of them. Or better than any of the rest of them, I should say.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's one that's basically like, oh, at the start of your turn, if you have a bird, like, flip a coin, and if you get heads, yeah, it's like, if you have a creature with flying, draw a card, otherwise give flying to a creature you control. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't have a creature with flying, you don't get to draw a card, but also if you don't have any creatures, it does literally nothing. This one, like, if you have any, if you have any hamsters, make that many hamster creature tokens. If you don't have any hamsters, make a 1/1 hamster creature token. It's like, okay, sure, you can get a creature token half the time. And it's like, you know, if you have this, do a thing. If you don't have it, either do a lesser thing or do nothing. And then you get to Squirrel. If you flip heads, do two things from the following list, but you can choose the same mode more than once. But the only one that matters is make a treasure token. So, if you choose Squirrel, then on basically every other turn, on average, every turn there's a 50-50 chance to just make 2 extra mana. Just get 2 treasures. So, unless you build a deck with one of the others in mind, and even if you do, it might still just be better to go for the 50-50 chance of just making 2 mana a turn. An average of an extra mana every turn. That can be stockpiled if you feel like you need to. And it's like, yeah, all the others are very niche, build-around effects, and then this was just like, yeah, get some mana. Like, if it made, like, food tokens instead, because, you know, squirrels, they hoard food, it's like, okay, fine. That's about on par with everything else. Right, yeah, the bathhouse exists. Ooh, green grass. Never seen green grass before. Do get a lot of rain under this tree, though. A whole lot of rain.
I feel like grass is normally green.
See, that's what you'd think. Grass comes in all the colors of the rainbow. Here's orange grass, here's some black grass.
Black isn't in the rainbow.
I mean, then why is it a grass color?
I mean, it probably shouldn't be.
That's heresy. And I guess I might as well just... Boop, boop, boop. Do-do-do-do. Let me sneeze. There we go. That's some curious music going on. That's some really anime-esque music going on there. Oh, speaking of anime-esque, I found a new anime that I wanted to watch.
Oh?
It's called Dungeon People. It's based off of a manga that I've read.
Fun.
The manga was also called Dungeon People. Oh, that's right. Yesterday, Azura and I finally finished that one challenge in Payday 2 that we've been trying to do for, what, like a week or two?
Certainly a while.
Yeah, once I decided to try getting serious about it, it was pretty easy. Turns out, you're not supposed to run around the corner to try to shoot the cloakers, you're supposed to just shoot them through the wall.
Which makes sense.
There. There.
Oh. Crap.
There.
Let's...
Come on, we can get the forging up a little bit.
Good morning. Good morning.
Open requests. Pia. Uh-oh. Requester Pia. Simple request. Help!
Okay, just reloading.
I feel like the word help was a running joke that we had at one point, but now I don't remember the context for it.
Morning.
Was it?
I feel like it was.
I mean, I feel like it's something that we have definitely yelled to each other while playing Payday 2 or other co-op things while the other person isn't paying attention.
No, I don't think it was a Payday 2. I think it was, like, from quite a while back. Off of some game that we had played where someone had said, like, help! So we just say that to each other sometimes.
Good morning.
Hmm.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Huh?
Yeah, if you want my help, you're gonna have to get out of the back. Good.
Good morning. Good morning. Morning. Huh?
Alright, cool. Let's get you some grass. So people can better relax at your inn.
There.
Level 3, level 2. Grass. Got it.
Hey there.
Hi. Oh,
Hello. Hey.
oh great, she gave me some wet boots. What am I supposed to do with a pair of wet boots, huh? I know. I'll sell them. Not even barely worth anything.
Hello. Hello.
Oh right, I started talking about a point earlier, and then I kind of completely phased away from that. Because I started talking about magic and stuff. While trying to scratch this writing bug, itch, whatever, I thought it'd be nice or fun to go onto various websites / forums I know, and see if I could get a nice casual text-based roleplay going on with anyone. It always feels so, I don't know, weird, childish, immature to talk about, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna roleplay with people. It's like, whatever, it's story writing. Write a story. is what it is, basically speaking. Come on. Drop. Let's try to write a story together and everything else.
Hello. Hey.
And so I go onto these forums where people post their advertisements of like what they want to look for in, you know, in story writing and all that, and a lot of them are, it's like, oh yeah, I want to do something like with straight characters, do stuff with our characters are straight and they're in love. It seems like 90 to 99% of the things are, yeah, let's ship our characters together, and it's like, yeah, that can be fun, but sometimes I want more than just let's ship our characters.
Hey there.
Hello.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And and of course, one of the benefits of one of the benefits of this whole thing is that people can put tags on their posts to say like, oh yeah, I'm looking for like M/F, I'm looking for M/M, like, oh, so you can just go in and see like, okay, they're looking for something that I'm looking for as well. That's good and beneficial. That way I don't have to waste my time with like, oh, do you want this? And like, oh, actually I distinctly don't. And it's like, oh, well then. Until people either forget to put in these tags, or they put in their tags, forget that they put in the tags, and they actually aren't looking for what's in the tags. I've had it on more than one occasion. Someone puts F/F as one of the tags of the prompt, whatever, that I have. So both things like, oh yes, I'm definitely interested in blah 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 blah, get you talking, plan out the thing, and then at the end, they're like, oh, you wanted lesbians? Oh, I don't want to play lesbians. It's like, you put it in your post. Oh, I forgot I did that. Whoops. And it's like, you put it in there.
Oh.
You know, the post that you made 30 minutes ago? Which means you've already forgotten it. Or, more annoying, if someone makes a post, it's like, yeah, I'm looking at playing, I don't know, lesbians, and then they have nothing else. Yeah, just looking to play lesbians with someone. It's like, okay, like what? Do you want fantasy? Do you want medieval? Do you want modern? Do you want sci? Like, do you have any plot lines in mind? Like, do you... Like, what do you want from this? And then just like, just want to do lesbians with someone. It's like...
Wow.
Okay, so, like, do you just want to go straight into smut? It's like, no, I want a good story. It's like, do you have any idea of what you want for the story? No, not really. Then maybe you shouldn't be posting an ad. Maybe instead you should be looking at other people's ads to see what sparks your interest. I don't actually say it, but I want to.
Yeah.
It's like... why should I be doing all of the work for you? Shut up. Or there was one I saw earlier today where someone had posted that they wanted to do, like, lesbians, whatever, right? Oh yeah, and I have like a whole Google Doc filled with ideas of what I want to do. Of course, they don't share a single one of their ideas. They don't share, like, a link to the Google Doc, nothing. It's like, oh yeah, I have so many, like, plots and scenes I want to do. So I posted as a response, it's like, okay, well, like, what are some of these ideas? Silence. Absolute silence. Nothing back from that. And it's like, good that you have ideas. Why don't you share them with the group so people can read them and, like, discuss them and stuff. But even on top of all of that, sometimes people have their ideas and they're like, yeah, like, here are like 3 distinct scenes I want to do. And so I go and it's like, okay, this so-and-so scene sounds good, but how about we alter it in this way? Because I think that might be more enjoyable. And he goes like, oh, no, I want to do it my way, and then they block me. For daring to suggest that the scene could potentially be altered, I get insta-blocked. It's like... Oh, and of course, a lot of people want to play, want to ship their OC with a canon character. So it's like, oh yeah, I have this OC, blah, 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 and I want to ship them with this character from this show. So you play this canon character so I can ship my thing with that. And it's like, I understand why people want to do that. I always just find it kind of selfish when people, I don't know, demand that someone else puts in the work to play a canon character just so they can ship their OC with them. Like, if they're like, oh, hey, this character and this character don't really interact with the show, but I ship them together anyway. I want to play one of them, you play the other, and let's ship these characters together. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Playing in their world, do whatever, make them meet, fall in love. There was only one bed, or maybe they're roommates. Whatever. They're roommates, but there's only one bed. And all that. It's like, okay, sure. But it's like, no, I want you to play, like, with the canon character, and I want to play my shiny OC, and you have the canon character completely fall in love with me. I mean, my character.
Ah.
Is it just me, or does that seem kind of selfish?
Yes. Yes, it does.
I thought you were gonna say, yes, it is you.
Honest.
Yeah, some people, if they do have a plot, they get so attached to it. It's like, no, we have to do it exactly this way. I've seen some people say, it's like, oh yeah, I'll play my OC, blah, 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 do this, and you play one of my OCs, this person who does this. And it's like, at this point, why don't you just write your own, like, book? Why don't you just write this yourself? Like, I don't want to play with one of your toys. I want to play with one of my toys, and you play with one of your toys, and we'll play with them together. I don't want to play with, like, the store-bought toys with you playing with your own personal thing. And I don't want to play using yours. I want to use one of mine playing with one of yours. You know? You get what I'm saying?
Hello.
Yes.
Although there was this one canon-only big group roleplay that I was in for a short while based off of Ruby. I'm trying to remember when it was set. I think it was just before Volume 3 that it was set. With an alternate thing, White Fang, expanding influence, blah blah blah. With general rules of like everyone gets a specific like canon character. Of course, the people who made the group got all of Team Ruby to themselves. And every post you make has to be like 6 paragraphs, and you're not allowed to control any other characters that have been claimed. but it's like trying to watch people do conversations in this way is so absolutely frustrating, because it's like, and then Ren says, "That sounds like a good idea, Nora," as he kind of like glances towards her, thinking about how maybe if he was more assertive of a person, he would admit his blah 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 to her, blah 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 blah, and they just write, you know, fancy prose for 5.5 paragraphs to fill up space. Nora has 6 paragraphs of dialogue, because that's just how Nora is. And then Ren says, "Oh, well, it's like, well, then you'd better get packed." And then 5.5 paragraphs of fancy prose just because the person will get in trouble if they don't fill the 6-paragraph quota. And you just see this back and forth for like pages and pages and pages of basically the same 5.5 paragraphs of prose, like, constantly. Because, like, oh, gotta do the 6 paragraphs, even if I just copy and paste most of it. Which is another thing that I find stupid. Anyway, I got to play Neon Cat, and that was kind of fun. But I didn't get to play very much, because eventually my scene, like, ended. It's like, okay, she's in bed. We're not allowed to time skip to the next morning until everyone's ready for the next morning. 3 weeks later, we still weren't ready for the next morning, because some people were still finishing their conversation. By the time the next morning came around, the next morning never did come around, we got time skipped to like 3 weeks later or something. Like,
What?
all of a sudden. Yeah, instead of just like the next morning rises, everyone start doing morning things, blah blah blah. It's all like, this is boring. Let's time skip until, like, you know, something big happens again. Okay. And it's like, okay, well, wait, what happened? I tell you, what wasn't easy was I was playing opposite someone someone finally decided to play as Flint Cole. Curiously enough, no one wanted to play Ironwood. Not sure why. Someone played as Flint Cole. In their first post, they basically assumed control of my character. And then they got reprimanded. It's like, hey, don't do that. They made like a half-hearted second post that was like maybe 1 paragraph. They got reprimanded for not writing enough. And then they just stopped altogether. It's like, I don't blame you for leaving. But 2 posts, you broke like 2 of the well-written rules. I understand not writing enough, but don't assume control of my character.
Good evening.
But now that you're gone, officially gone, even though they didn't announce that they were leaving, but waited a day, realized they're not coming back, asked them, I was like, hey, can I just take their character over because they're not here? It's like, yeah, sure. Wrote out my couple of posts. And I was like, well, I'm just writing to myself now. Neon Cat goes to bed. But yeah, sometimes people have arbitrary rules for their roleplay, text post, whatever things. Like, oh yes, you must write 6 paragraphs at minimum, blah blah blah. It's like, why? I understand. Oh, I want you to write in enough that I have stuff to work off of. But it's like, oh, you have to write 4 paragraphs. You have to write 6 paragraphs. You have to write 2,000 words. Like, that's a lot. But also, a post can be like a sentence or 2 and still give you stuff to work off of, especially in a dialogue-heavy scene. Imagine you reading a book. And for every like line of dialogue that happens, there's an extra like 6 paragraphs of, oh yes, and they cross their arms, they're like kind of rub their finger against like their arm just a little bit, brushing off it with the feeling of a bug that might have been standing there, but it turns out there was no bug. They just were having like phantom bug, blah 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 blah. And then the next time that character talks, it like copy paste again and again and again. Like, You submit that to your editor, they'll tell you, no, cut that. Cut all of that. I mean, I've also heard of people who read books who decided that they wanted... that if they see just like a page of dialogue, they just skip the entire thing. So, maybe it's those same people. They want more description. They hate it when people are talking. Which... I never understood. Do you have any idea of what they might be on about for that? Oh no,
really.
people are talking. I'd better not read this.
Everything going dark.
Well, that didn't work out.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good. Huh?
Evening.
Good evening.
I mean, I get bored with books when they just have overly long prose that is very much not needed. And then people apparently get mad when books don't have overly long, unnecessary prose. It's like, okay, I understand that your character was sleeping and they sat up in bed. You don't have to announce that they sat up in bed 3, 4 more times. You don't have to include the line, while they are sitting up in bed, every single post. Like, I get it. Until something else happens, they're sitting up in bed. Got it. I'm with ya. Okay, 5 times. You don't have to keep saying.
Good evening.
It's like, I understand that this is what's happening. I get it.
Good evening. Good
Yeah.
evening.
Good evening.
And like, what? Do these people work for the Department of Redundancy Department?
Good evening.
Welcome.
Everything is probably fine. But yeah. Writing can be fun.
Alright!
I've enjoyed writing my little random Magic the Gathering projects. Those have been nice and enjoyable. Whatnot. Except for the last time I tried to write one where the game was over in like 3 turns and there was basically nothing to write about. But other than that, they've been generally pretty fun. Yeah, I wanted to write some big, epic thing about, like, Taylor and a couple of her creations going up in a big fight against the Academy, and, like, the people of the Academy starting to come out and fight back against her, blah, blah, but because of the specific Plane Chase and Archenemy cards that got flipped, it was like, Taylor walked up, went, hey, I'm gonna do something. And then, like, 5 people immediately came out and just blasted her away. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's probably the more realistic outcome, but also, that's not good storytelling.
No.
Meow.
Meow.
Gosh, I've been using up like all of my food. Maybe I should have bought some bread. Bought some flour, turned into toast. You know, I'm just gonna save and end this episode about here, and probably by the next time I'll figure out what I want to do with it. Oh yeah, that Frosthaven story I was writing some time ago, that was fun to write. Start off with simple enough premise, 3 siblings, and some relative stranger, going off into the frozen Arctic North to try to help people and solve adventures. But then as various members of the group start to retire, just to be replaced with new people who come along. Yeah, eventually it... yeah. I was trying to explain the scene that had happened, and it was basically like a soap opera, but without all, like, the love in it. Maybe it got a bit too complicated. You know, it makes sense if you actually read it. Like, trying to explain anything, any story halfway through gets overly complicated. Reading it from the beginning is a lot better. Maybe I should upload more. Oh well.